Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Top 10 British bands who never cracked America.
These musical groups found fame in the UK, but they remained relatively obscure in the US.
I wonder if I'll know that.
That's gonna be the ultimate test.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10
I
British...
guess if you don't know them, doesn't mean they didn't make it, but if you do know them, then I kind of feel like they made it because you know them.
fans who never cracked America. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, continuous commercial success in America. We're focusing on bands that never experienced continuous commercial success in America. Number 10, Supergrass.
Oh, I heard the song. It's a commercial.
For a British band to successfully cross over into America, it's crucial to capitalise upon the buzz. And for Oxford group Supergrass, well, they failed to expand beyond their
But I
native
knew that
demographic.
song.
Yeah, that song is a commercial song,
Yeah.
so I guess they did crack it. Yeah, they made it. I mean, I guess the definition of crack it, can be debatable, but if at least one song is popular, I think you made it.
With their 1995 debut album, I Should Coco, Supergrass briefly reached the number 1 in the UK charts and actually released 2 more albums by the end of the 90s. By that time though, music trends had changed significantly in the US and, well, Supergrass began to drift away, barely cracking the US Top 200 with 2002's Life on Other Planets. Sadly, it all ended with an internal Twitter beef. Number 9, Madness. During the late 70s and early 80s, this band was far more than just a one-hit wonder in the UK. In fact, Madness would even influence the American band that
What's context have you heard this song?
I don't know.
would ultimately become No Doubt.
In the middle of the street. Commercial.
And like Gwen
Commercial.
Stefani's this
I guess all the old UK bands, they become commercial music here in the States.
group, Madness didn't align themselves with a specific genre, as they blended together a variety of musical styles. With that being said, Madness was, in fact, linked to skinheads in their early days, which perhaps negatively affected larger-scale opportunities. Regardless, the UK band experienced great success during their initial 10-year run, but never once did one of their acclaimed albums crack the US Top 100 charts.
Yikes.
Number 8, Take That.
I guess now it's time.
We see them on the list, no?
On European lists, we see them a lot, but yeah, I would say Take That has not cracked American market. You don't know a single song of them.
No. I don't like the name.
I
Probably is the name.
I think I know one song of theirs.
The legendary music executive Clive
And of course, Robbie Williams. I know Robbie Williams, but as a group, I think one song.
Davis signed this UK boy band to a record deal with Arista, but Take That had already begun to self-destruct. In their prime, Gary Barlow stunned critics with his songwriting skills, and the young Robbie Williams displayed his obvious star power. And so, Take That seemed primed for America. Yet, Williams quit in 1996, just as the pop scene was about to change in the United States. The group initially formed in the early 90s, and despite 3 well-received albums, Take That just didn't seem to have the right amount of mojo to keep it going. Although
That one is familiar.
members would later reunite with Williams in 2010. Number 7, Kasabian.
Oh, we know the song.
American indie fans have certainly heard of this group from Leicester, despite the fact that Kasabian's lead singer Sergio Pizzorno once noted that he hates indie bands. So that's one thing to consider when thinking about Kasabian's failed American crossover. In the UK, they reached number 4 on the UK charts with their self-titled 2004 debut, and the next several albums managed to reach number 1. By 2013, however, guitarist Jay Mellor actually left to play with Liam Gallagher, formerly of Oasis, while Tom Meehan cited unfinished business in America around the same time. However, the 2014 album 4813 failed to chart in the US, and maybe Kasabian just wasn't ready for a committed American crossover.
The video was very American. The police cars are American.
Number 6, Happy Mondays. Now this Mojoholics is what you call a Manchester band. From 1980 to 1993, Happy Mondays
Manchester band. Remember yesterday we learned that genre? Manchester.
Managed to gain quite the following in the UK, certainly with their 1990 album Hills and Thrills and Bellyaches. considering that a band like New Kids on the Block was big in the United States at the time, well, that's just one reason why the Happy Mondays sound failed to connect with the American mainstream. Even so, this is a band that heavily influenced some of the more notable UK bands of the 90s, such as Oasis and the Stone Roses. Yet their sound embodies more of a distinct Euro vibe rather than trendy American hooks. Number 5, Stereophonics. From the late 90s to the early 2000s,
But his
this one
style
had
sounds
established
familiar. Like I can see his style within the artist.
a reputation for their killer live shows. However, Stereophonics ultimately dismissed original
I recognize the name too, Stereophonics. Obviously, he reacted to a lot of UK music, so I guess from there, but the name is familiar.
drummer Stuart Cable in 2003, reportedly because he was more interested in his TV show than the
But
band.
some of these groups, even the names I don't recognize.
Sadly, Cable would pass away just 7 years later. In their prime, Stereophonics was known as one of the most talented UK bands, releasing 5 #1 albums throughout the 2000s. Yet only one of those, 2001's Just Enough Education to Perform, managed to crack the US Top 200 charts.
So I guess his definition is not like not at all cracked, but when they say cracked, they mean like solid, like established presence, not just like. I guess the first two where we have heard them in commercials, they wouldn't really fall under that definition because just no one song barely made it, you know.
Despite the lack of American buzz, Stereophonics continues in their native Wales as one of the most highly regarded UK bands of the 21st century. Number 4, Manic Street Preachers. Like many overly ambitious rock bands, this Wales group infamously hyped up their 1992 debut album, Generation Terrorists, and, well, failed to crack the top 10 in the UK charts. In fact, the Manics wouldn't land a #1 until 6 years later, this coming 3 years after the mysterious disappearance of the celebrated songwriter and guitarist Richie Edwards.
Mysterious?
Their music is pure
Why
rock,
is it
something that
mysterious?
US rock enthusiasts could
I
easily
guess the body was never found.
Ooh.
That's interesting. Alright.
get behind, or so it would seem. But while the Manics became iconic figures overseas, their sound just never translated to American mainstream consumers. Decades after the loss of Edwards, however, the Manics continue to wail. Number 3, Pulp.
All the name is also familiar. Sounds familiar.
By the time of this band's success during the mid-90s Britpop era, they had already been together well over 15 years.
That's
and
really
until then,
bad.
Pulp had never actually
You know when
landed.
you're young, you're a little dumb.
And you kissing the poster? You did that?
No, I remember seeing, but I don't think I did that. I don't know.
Just-
I may be innocent, I may be guilty. I'm not too sure.
On record, let alone an American hit.
That's how you're supposed to practice.
The album's a different class, and This Is Hardcore teased at a potential American crossover, with the latter finding its way to the US charts in 1996. At this time, though, reported drug use and internal scuffling shook up the band, and Pulp's final album was ultimately released in the early fall of 2001, peaking at number 6 in the UK charts. For a brief time, this group was on par with the likes of Oasis, but like the Gallaghers, Pulp just couldn't manage to keep the unit together. Number 2, The Jam.
No.
Fronted by
Very
the
close to Pearl Jam.
talented Paul Weller, a man known for
Well,
his
you know,
distinct...
everybody so far been guys, right? I wonder if you're going to see at least like one
One
girl
lady.
because I feel like you said
Oh.
Sugar Babes hasn't. You don't know Sugar
I
Babes.
don't know
so
Sugar Babes.
Sugar Babes would qualify.
The Atomics.
Atomic Kitten.
Yeah.
British
So
And it's
compositions,
that's- oh,
this
no,
band
it's
came,
not bad.
saw and conquered during their decade-long existence. Well, at least in the UK. Aesthetically, the Jam preceded punk, and they called it quits just as the new wave took off in the early 80s. In between, they released 6 acclaimed studio albums, with the last 5 climbing the UK charts. Truth be told, the Jam had somewhat of a steady presence in the US charts during their run, but despite their stylized look and obvious talent, the party ended with the 1982 release, The Gift. And just like that, the Jam was gone before Americans could catch on. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
No. I wonder why they're honorable mentions. Like, how do you qualify? Like,
I guess
they already didn't crack, so what did they really didn't do? They really didn't crack.
I guess maybe they weren't like the top bands.
Oh.
They didn't crack, but they weren't like the big hitters.
No one was looking for them to crack.
Right. Or they weren't big hitters, but they're like the author's favorite. You know.
Aww, how cute. The Waterboys.
Number 1, the Stone Roses.
Yeah, Stone Roses are big. We see them in like almost every video we do, yeah. And every time I see them, I think of the Rolling Stones.
If you're even vaguely familiar with the bravado and attitude of Oasis, well, let's just say the Gallagher brothers were inspired by the Stone Roses. This is a band that once said America doesn't deserve us yet, and while they may have been right, the Stone Roses didn't seem in a hurry to record consistent music after the renowned 1989 debut.
Sounds like something Gorillaz would have sampled. Maybe Gorillaz sampled them, I don't know. I feel like this is familiar to one of the Gorillaz songs.
In fact, it took a full 5 years for the Manchester group to drop a second album, and the band folded for good less than 2 years later. Since then, there has always been talks of a reunion, but it just never seems to happen. And so the Stone Roses will forever remain an acclaimed British rock band that failed to live up to their crossover potential.
Alright, interesting list. I guess the Stone Roses is a big hitter, and Take That, I would say the two biggest. But not a single lady group, huh?
No.
Yeah, I feel like it should have included some girls, because there are definitely
There's
some.
a lot of groups that didn't have no clue who they were. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and zoys. Share as much kindness as possible.